But let's, of course, start with this big story that is dominating the American headlines. A California judge has now granted legal relief to the thousands of recently hired federal employees, blocking the government's move to fire them. On Thursday, a federal judge in San Francisco ruled that the government does not have the authority to order the mass firings of federal employees. At the hearing, the district judge, William Alsip, ordered the U.S. Office of Personnel Management to recall two of its directives, a memo from the 20th of January and an email from the 14th of February, both of which had ordered multiple federal agencies to identify and then terminate employees on probation. Now, the order comes days after several unions and organizations had filed a lawsuit last week against the American President Donald Trump and also his billionaire loyalist Elon Musk. The case is just one of the over 70 lawsuits that have been filed against Donald Trump and his administration over several issues, including the controversial overhauls and also Musk's unchecked powers within the American administration. The court order just comes on the heels of reports that say the Trump administration has fired hundreds of workers at the U.S. Climate Research Agency. A Democrat lawmaker has claimed that the hundreds of scientists and experts have been fired from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Now, the agency that is responsible for weather forecasting, climate analysis, marine conservation and more. The NOAA has been a prime target for conservative ideologues behind Project 2025. The plan that was developed by the Heritage Foundation describes the NOAA as one of the main drivers of climate change alarm industry, and it calls for the dismantling of the agency. It's also seeking to privatize the National Weather Service as well.
This is not about cost cutting. Do not let anyone say this. This is about control. This is about revenge. This is about all the worst things that our democracy was meant to prevent. So we have to stop it, and we're going to do that.
Now, Donald Trump has tasked Elon Musk with the goal of slashing public spending, and that the billionaire has set out to achieve this first by firing thousands of federal workers across departments. While there is an outcry on the streets over these decisions, Elon Musk has made a controversial suggestion about the salaries of the lawmakers. The billionaire has proposed increasing salaries for the politicians. He claims the pay hikes for the Congress and senior government employees could actually reduce corruption. Now, Elon Musk's comments have sparked a huge uproar, with his own father having said a few days ago that he's not cut out for politics. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is happening in the United States of America, we're being joined by Mr. Rich Giordano, who is a sheriff, former New York State judge and prosecutor, and also host of the Rich Giordano Show. He's joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Giordano, this is a critical moment for the American people, and this is also in many ways a legal setback for the Trump administration, which is being advised by Elon Musk on going about firing these thousands of federal employees. And now the judge has said that probably the federal government does not have the authority to order these kind of mass firings as have been put forth. What's your assessment of this?
Oh, my assessment is this is one of the attacks against the Trump administration. Legislatively, since President Trump controls the White House, our Senate, and our Congress, the legislators can't do it legislatively. So they've gone to lawsuits, and currently, you're right, there's over almost 90 lawsuits on a variety of 22 different issues, from immigration, from the suspension of research funds, from USAID, and also most recently from the mass firing of employees at different agencies. However, those are lower court rulings. So you will see an appeal by the Trump administration to our Supreme Court. They will ultimately decide what authority the executive branch or the president and his appointees have over employees. There's several categories. There's individuals who are on probation. There's individuals who are about to be hired. And then there's career civil servants. So they've made broad strokes to terminate and eliminate thousands of positions across our government. And they're all being challenged usually by left-leaning Democratic groups or the unions in favor of these individuals.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, yes, Donald Trump is, of course, in charge. He is the chief executive there, and therefore he can do things as he deems fit. But this is what the Democrats are turning around and saying, that this is not just about economic efficiency. This is about controlling the agencies. By doing away with agencies that have been critical of Donald Trump's policies, for instance, on the issue of climate change. And the second criticism is this: if this was about bringing about more efficiency and cost cutting, why is Elon Musk recommending that the salaries of the lawmakers need to be increased? But on the other hand, he wants these federal employees, a lot of them probationers, to be laid off. How do you convince them?
I think that it's a mass approach, and the Trump administration feels that the sooner they do these things, the more difficult it will be to turn them back by lawsuits or by the legislature. So I think what you're seeing is Elon Musk looking across the board and saying these positions do not further or advance the policy position of the Trump administration. And as President Obama said several years ago, elections have results. President Trump is doing everything and having everything done that he said when he was running. So it's not like it's a bait and switch, or it's not like it's a surprise to anyone.
Right.
But you are right. There's different categories. So you will see unions fighting for their members. You will see individuals who may fall outside of civil service protections. In fact, there's a couple lawsuits where they're claiming that some of the acts of Elon Musk and the Doge effort are taking away civil service protections. Those may be a greater chance of being successful.
But very quickly, because we're short of time, do you support this recommendation by Elon Musk that the salaries of the lawmakers need to be increased? Because this is going to be possibly one of the most unpopular recommendations within the American public.
Well, I think the logic that I recall reading is that they need to have their salaries increased and not to have any outside income. Most of our senators and congressmen go in on fixed salaries, and when they leave government, they're worth millions of dollars, or their families are worth millions of dollars. And recently, a big scandal was uncovered in the past few years where there was insider trading,
right,
where it closed government hearings. They would hear about stocks and things that were going to happen, and their family would buy or sell stocks.
All right.
And so therefore, this is a reaction to that, where I think what Elon Musk is saying, pay them a better salary, but limit anything they can make on the outside or anything their family can make from their government connections.
Interesting. We are completely out of time.
Good.
All right, we're completely out of time. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Giordano, for joining us. Although a few people who turn around and say any senator or lawmaker who wants to be corrupt would be corrupt irrespective of the salary rise that is given to them. But we're completely out of time. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.